Welcome to another episode of Sports and Songs Podcast. Andy, we're on season 3, episode number 30. This is our music segment. How you doing tonight?
Good. Yourself?
Good. It's June 16th, 2022, and the reason I'm excited, Andy, is that we're doing a Kiss album today.
Yes. Both of you and I.
You and I go way back in the Kiss archives, and a fan. So days like this, I get a little more excited for the show.
Yes, the reason we picked the Kiss album is because, they kind of made the news recently. A concert in Belgium being accused of lip syncing. Now, because of contract rights, Guido, our attorney, could not get us cleared permission to play the video. But if you just put Kiss lip syncing 2022 in your YouTube machine, you'll see it, and you can find any Kiss article on it right recently. You'll find it. What happened is they're in Belgium. First song they're doing comes up. I believe Detroit Rock City was the song, and they'll blame the drummer, Eric Singer, right off the bat for missing a beat. Threw everybody off. I don't know. You guys are professionals. You do the song every day. You should be able to have Gypsy Rose Lee playing in the background and know the words. Okay, you shouldn't need the music to match. I'm sorry. Threw him off. Paul turned to look at something, and all of a sudden you hear his voice singing the words. And he quickly turned to the microphone to do it. Now, with that said, do they lip sync all their songs? I don't know. Do they have it play in the background in case there's an issue? Maybe. Is that a safety thing? Sure. You hear other artists admit to doing that. They have something playing in the background in case something goes wrong with their mic. But you know what? If I was at the concert, all of a sudden his mic went dead, I heard nothing for a while, I think that was kind of cool and kind of funny. Don't have the music playing to cover your butt. And you're in your 70s, Paul. We get it. If your voice ain't going to hold up all show long. I heard he's been doing good, but unlike the Milli Vanilli incident of the late 80s, I'm not going to go burning my Kiss albums for it. So lip syncing in concert. I haven't seen him in concert in 20 plus years. So probably closer to 30 years since I've seen them in concert last. So they were still fine then. They could have been lip syncing then. I'd never know. What I don't know ain't going to hurt me. If they were, is it a shame on them? Kind of, because Gene's been real outspoken and for blasting bands who lip sync and have piped in music. Gene's been doing a lot of stepping on his tongue the last few years. I love Kiss. They're my favorite band. But they kind of got caught doing it. It's kind of funny that it bit them. I don't hold anything against them for it. I just think it's kind of funny. Finally caught up to you. Kind of like what's his name? Fauci finally got COVID. Really? The guy who's got triple masks and 80 shots not that I'm wishing ill on anybody, but the one guy who's apparently doing everything he's supposed to to prevent it, got it. Okay, Kiss, who says don't do this, got caught doing it. So I think it's kind of funny. I could laugh it off. I'm not hurt by it as a fan.
I am the same way. I'm not offended by it. In fact, if you do a search for Kiss lip syncing, even before you get to the 2022, a few videos come up in 2019. Mm-hmm. Now, this is, mind you, this is recently. These guys are 70 years old. Now, if Paul Stanley has some issues with a certain song that he can't hit the notes,
right,
and they're going to lip sync that song, I can understand it. I can see it. I've seen the band live 5 times, and they've always seemed almost too perfect.
Right.
You see Kiss, it's almost a perfection of a show.
Yep.
Bands are not missing their notes. The vocals are not missing their notes. It's all almost too perfect. No, I took that as a band that rehearsed and was perfectionists like Gene and Paul are. I didn't see Ace and Peter Criss back in the day when they were having lots of fun. I'm sure others have seen that, and they were probably off. But they have also taken great pride in their live show, and they don't do the lip syncing kind of a thing, like Gene has always said. I'm sure Gene never has done it. Paul, there's got to be a reason if he did it on a few songs, but it can't be because his voice is worn out. All the albums that they've done over the years, they've traded off on the lyrics.
Right.
The album that we're going to do today it's a perfect example of that, where they split them up. So is it notes that he can't hit, they're going to do that? Are they going to do it as a backup, like you said earlier, just in case something goes wrong? I don't know. Kiss, over the years, when they were a big machine, would never think of doing this. Now, later on in life, maybe they do. I'm not going to burn my Kiss records. I'm almost going to sit back and chuckle with it, because it's so odd. So it's not the same, like you said, as Milli Vanilli, but guys in their 70s, I don't know. It's frowned upon. Do other bands do the lip syncing? I'm sure, but I think the Milli Vanilli thing was that all of their performances were done. Every song.
Well, and here's the thing on it, though. I had that album. I had the Milli Vanilli album. Pridefully, I'll say that. And you know what? I got it because I like the songs and the sound. I can care less what those two guys look like. So if you bought it because of what they look like, and then you didn't like the fact they were the ones singing, shame on you. That's your dumb fault for buying the book based on the cover, not the insides. I got it because I thought it was a neat album. I liked the songs. I didn't care less what the two singers looked like.
But you're listening to the studio recording, which is them. And that's what you like. The live performances were staged somewhat, and people had an issue with it. Yes, that's
that part.
The
concert part, I agree with. I'd be upset if I spent, like Gene Simmons said, if I spent $100 for a ticket, I want to know I'm getting 100% of the show. Let me know. Let me know in the ticket that if it says, "Hey, we have the music playing in the background in case we have audio problems." If you put that on your ticket, and something goes wrong, and you hear a little blurb, fine. Obviously, they don't have the music piped into their ears, so if the drummer missed a beat and it threw them all off, that's the part I think is funny. You guys have been doing this for 50 plus years, and the drummer missed a beat.
Then you blame the drummer.
I
don't know. It's comedy, but you're right. The tickets nowadays, I don't think there's anything for a Kiss show is under $200 for a ticket at all. So I could see if I'm in the front row and if you're in
the front row, you spend 4 digits easy. I would guarantee you spend over $1,000 for front row Kiss in the state.
Oh yes. So that's the issue, I think, as far as getting your money's worth or not. Now, Kiss they still do to this day, put on such a huge show, regardless of the lip syncing or not. We're talking the side effects, the sound, the pyrotechnics, everything else. It's like going to a 3-ring circus show of theirs.
A psycho circus.
A psycho circus, if you will. But you got Eric Singer, you got Tommy Thayer. You got some good musicians, some good band members, and they all take part of it. Paul Stanley sings probably 40% of the songs.
Right.
So, and they're in their 70s. I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a story. Now, the fact that Ace Frehley engaged in all of this,
that was a fat kid at the buffet right there when he heard that news.
That took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah. And I give Peter Criss credit, because as far as I know, he hasn't said much yet. I'm sure he's chuckling at home, and he's letting Ace have his moment right now by saying something. I'm sure Peter Criss said phone calls and emails. What do you think on it? He's just kind of going with the no comment line. Good for him.
And for the listeners not aware, back in the day, Gene and Paul were almost like the teachers or the parents, and Ace and Peter were the students or the children that were always being, knock it off. Do your homework, and anything they did, they got in trouble for. So here it's funny because it goes the other way. That's why I think Ace could not resist.
Yep. Well, also, and Peter Criss, again, I'm waiting for his because, and this is just from my opinion of the numerous documentaries they've always had out there, Ace was the one who kind of stirred the pot against Gene and Paul, and Peter Criss was like, yeah, what he said.
Yes. That's I think how it went down. Peter Criss would follow along, but Ace stirred that pot and just.
Peter Criss saw where he was coming from. I was like, yeah. See you, bye. And so I think that's why Peter Criss is keeping his mouth shut now. He's trying to hey, I'm too old for this, whatever, let it go.
So the reaction was something that you would see back in 79. Right. Now we're in 2022. And this is the undercurrent for all these years. And now it's rearing its ugly
head. Look up Ace Frehley's comments on this one. He was on stage. I don't have the quote for him anymore, so I'm paraphrasing here. He had his band on stage. He goes, "We're about to do a song about rock and roll in a city located up by Lake Michigan. And no, there is no taped music to this." And he went into rock and roll. Detroit Rock City. So, he's having fun.
It's karma. It's well, anyway, it's good. It makes for a good story for shows like this because there's so much background. There's years and years and decades of this background.
And I think without being a Kiss fan, following every Kiss article I can find online, I have it tagged as stories I want to follow on that. Joe Blow might not have heard of this because there is no MTV Music News anymore to say something like that. Kiss ain't that popular with new songs where it's going to be on any of the like Entertainment Tonight or talk shows like that. If they even exist anymore, I don't know.
You're right, and this is the end of the road tour. I think is what it's called. They're not promoting a new album.
This is year 4 of End of the Road.
They already had the farewell tour, the goodbye, the reunion tour. This is like the 5th,
and it's in Belgium. I think they're in the news. But they're in the news for doing other dumb stuff. If Gene still had his reality show, maybe it would have been on like local news, or maybe Fox will have something on this weekend on their weekend news shows. But since they're kind of under the radar in this country right now, it's going to kind of just get blown over.
But you're between a band that's been playing since 1974 to 2022, all the shows that they have ever played, there are very, very few mistakes at all. Right. And this, I agree, it's a mistake.
Yep.
But you're still performing. It's so under the radar. It's 0.001% of failure versus all the shows that they've done. Well, good. It's such a small percentage.
Well, they've come out saying that when they recorded a live, that wasn't a live album. They've come out recently, the last 5 years, admitting that there's studio stuff in there, canned audio noise in there, crowd noise to make it go better.
Crowd noise.
But you know what? To me, I'm like, isn't every live album like that? There's no such thing as a true live album anymore. Even back then.
I used to think that they were all recorded live, and Kiss has been doing this live. They were one of the first ones that did the live. And they did say, look, we played 3 dates or whatever it was, and we put together the best. But we also piped in applause and
cheering.
I still love the album.
And you got to pipe in some of that because, especially a Kiss concert, you're going to get in the front row mics. You're going to pick up more than like, yay. Okay, there's going to be a few other things being said. So you just want to keep it clean and good. I can see where you pipe in the crowd noise for that for a live album. The recording of their voices was all live. But they've also admitted on that album there was some studio work to touch it up. So if you look back, that was like 5-6 years ago, those interviews. So having heard those before all this doesn't really surprise me. It was piped in music at a live concert. I just thought it was more of a string broke and he goes to switch guitars, but you still hear the guitar going. That's the mistake I would have expected. And again, I'd have been okay with it. I paid hundreds of dollars to see a perfect show. I want to hear a perfect show.
It's a conundrum because the part of the reason you're going to see it live is to see it live. Is to see how
you don't want to see one, but if one happens, you're okay with it. There was a Def Leppard concert once. It was a MTV Unplugged type situation one time with all their fans. Hey, we can play this song. They all looked at each other. It was like not even a beat track from their first album. They're all like, do you even remember how it goes? So they kind of thought, well, what was it? And they admittedly struggled how to do it. That I enjoyed because not every band, you can listen to we're going to go over Rock and Roll Over later on. You can listen to every song on that album I guarantee Paul and Gene cannot play every song on that album at the drop of a hat. So
correct.
You know, but like I said, Rock and Roll Over is the album of the week. What do you got for me on that, sir?
Here we go. So this was Kiss's album cover, Rock and Roll Over. This is their 5th studio album by American rock band Kiss, released in 1976, recorded in the Star Theater in New York. Now, to get the proper drum sound, Peter Criss recorded his tracks in a bathroom, communicating via video link with the rest of the band to get the tracks laid down just right. So re-listen to the album again, understanding that he's in a bathroom while doing it.
Okay, what year was this?
1976.
So he wasn't using Zoom back and forth with everybody. Okay, so
he was on.
There was
no
a pretty
Zoom.
early video link. So
now the artwork on the cover was done by artist Michael Durrett, and I'm going to put up a crawler here. Let's see here. Here we go.
There he goes.
So Michael Durrett was known for a lot of things. He did the artwork for Sonic Boom, which for the most part, looks similar to Rock and Roll Over. He also did the New York Knicks NBA logo and the United States postage stamp that had an eagle on it. That's all Michael Durrett. So part of the reason I love this, Andy, looking up these albums and doing the research, is finding out stuff that I never knew before. I never took much time looking at who did the album artwork. Now, this album went platinum, sold 1 million copies. Here is the track listing. Song 1. And these are some of my favorite Kiss songs are on this album. And once again, you know me that I love the deeper tracks, not the famous airplay radio songs. Song 1 is I Want You. That's a Paul Stanley classic, especially live. The live version of I Want You is very good. Song 2 is Take Me, also by Stanley. Song 3 is Calling Dr. Love. It's a typical, there's your Gene Simmons staple. Next one is Ladies' Room, Gene Simmons. Baby Driver is song 5. Now, that's a song Peter Criss did. Peter Criss sang it, and he had that kind of written and in the can before he even joined Kiss. He had that written before he joined the band Kiss. They put that on there. Well done. Then you get the song Love 'Em and Leave 'Em, of course, done by Gene Simmons. Mr. Speed, song 7 by Paul Stanley. Song 8, See You in Your Dreams. Another, the theme here with Simmons is the ego and the sex, the undertones and the undercurrents of sex and ego just come bursting through. See you. The lyrics go, see you in your dreams tonight. Now, Hard Luck Woman is song number 9. Paul Stanley wrote that, Hard Luck Woman. Peter Criss sang it. But originally, that song was supposed to be pitched to Rod Stewart. Paul Stanley wrote that thinking this could be a Rod Stewart song. And Gene Simmons says, no, keep it with us. Have Peter Criss sing it, and he's going to be able to pull it off. And they did. One of my other favorite songs, Hard Luck. The other reason I like these older albums is that I always like the other performances from the other members. The Peter Criss songs are very good. Hard Luck Woman, Peter Criss. Song 10, Making Love. That's Paul Stanley. Of course, this is an Eddie Kramer produced engineering song album. Very, very good. 33 minutes and 18 seconds, Andy, for the entire.
Yeah, not a lot of guitar solos, not a lot of drum solos. Just kind of got right into it. Boom, 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 done.
Right to it. No ballads, no instrumentals. This was the first album, by the way, that Ace Frehley didn't have a writing credit at all.
Hard Luck Woman's kind of a ballad. That's more of a power ballad, maybe.
Oh, yeah, yep. And so Ace Frehley, you can tell already by this point was starting to fall out of favor. And this was 1976. And then Love Gun came after this, but this was released November 11th, 1976. I was a 6-year-old kid, didn't even know this even came out until years later. I was not into Kiss early on. It's considered hard rock, but today I would call it just kind of pop rock, rock music. It's not heavy metal by any means. Now, the 2 songs they released on this album, they only released the 2, was Hard Luck Woman by Peter Criss and Calling Dr. Love. Now, Calling Dr. Love is a concert staple.
Yes. In fact, they used that for a Dr. Pepper commercial a few years ago. Because Dr. Pepper had all these guys who were doctors. Dr. J did commercials. Gene Simmons did one going, well, I'm a doctor. And they had that song going. So he made it.
Oh, yes. I remember that, yes. Was that?
I don't know who will air that, but I know when they saw Dr. Pepper doing commercials with Dr. J and everything else, I'm sure Gene saw dollar signs and made some phone calls. But
so that's the album. It's released on Casablanca Records, of course. Very good, old school stuff. It's a quick. Here we go. Now, I did bring for the episode of the show, Andy, my personal cassette.
Yes.
Got a lot of mileage in the old cassette player back in the day in the car. And then having to upgrade later, I did most of my collection for Kiss is now on CD, but this is good stuff. It's a classic 33-minute Kiss album. They were pumping out 1 to 2 albums per year back these days. And
I got a couple things here on Michael Durrett. First of all,
go ahead. I've got
he's done logo work, like I said, for Time Magazine. He's done some work for Major League Baseball. The movie Wreck-It Ralph, he was involved in that, doing some stuff. He's worked for Walt Disney and Universal Studios. And he helped design the Playboy logo.
He did.
Why do you think Gene loved him so much?
There's your answer.
So my favorite song on that. Okay, my 2 favorite songs on the track are Ladies Room and Hard Luck Woman. I've always loved Hard Luck Woman. That reached number 15 on the charts in the U.S. on the Billboard Hot 100. U.S. Cashbox Top 100. It reached number 19. Made number 15 in Calgary or in Canada. But there's been other versions of that done. Like I said, Peter Criss did 2 songs on that album, Baby Driver and Hard Luck Woman. Garth Brooks did a cover of it on the Kiss My Ass Deep Cuts tribute album. Garth Brooks reached number 26 and 28 on the pop and the adult contemporary charts. But the country charts, it only got up to number 67. If you use your YouTube machine, and you put in Hard Luck Woman Garth Brooks, you'll see the version where he did that with the Kiss band. This is Bruce and Eric Carr and Paul and Gene, no makeup, on the Jay Leno show. So that was a pretty good cover there. But also, you're familiar with Corey Taylor from Slipknot and Stone Sour?
Yes.
He did a cover of this at a Live in London concert in 2016. One thing about Hard Luck Woman on the courtesy of the Wikipedia, the reception, Cashbox Music, said the song is moving away from the heavy metal and that lead vocal is not unlike Rod Stewart. There's a growly, bluesy intensity centered around acoustic rhythm work. They call it almost gentle folk rock for this song. And because when you hear the original, then you hear Garth Brooks' version, there's not much difference. I mean, yeah, Peter Criss and Garth sound different, but Garth didn't have to change any of the music to make it more his style. He just played it. And you'll go, okay, I've seen that Kiss My Ass album. All these other great rock bands. Lenny Kravitz is on there. There's an awesome version on there. Extreme has a version.
Oh, yes.
Garth Brooks said his 2 biggest influences in music growing up were Billy Joel and Kiss. I've seen both those bands in concert, and I've seen Garth Brooks in concert. If you took a Billy Joel show and a Kiss show and you welded them together, that's a Garth Brooks concert.
Morphed
So,
okay.
again, that album, Rock Roll Over, I think at the time was heavy metal. But today it's a rock album. I've been listening to a lot of old Kiss stuff lately. I think, and I'm gonna have to ask a professional on this in a couple of weeks on our show. When we had Carry On from Heartless, 1970s Heart and 1980s Heart are two different bands. I think we can agree on that. They kind of changed. I think Kiss with makeup, Kiss without makeup is two different bands. From Look It Up on, they changed. Now, they did a few more with makeup afterwards, after they got their whole, we're going to make money with the makeup tour. Monster, I think, was one of them, and another they had with makeup on. But with and without makeup were two different albums. Kiss was also accused around this time of making a disco album. And both Gene and Paul have said, no, we made music to what was popular at the time. It was still rock and roll, but we made it sound to the sound of today. Because, like I said, the non-makeup Kiss, the 80s glam metal, now with the exception of the Revenge album, that's kind of a poppy glam metal. Okay? I mean, Tears Are Falling, Who Wants to Be Lonely, that's glam metal. Great songs, glam metal. Crazy Nights, that entire album, glam metal. I like it, don't get me wrong. But I don't know if I can hear those songs in makeup.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
kind of like when they were without makeup.
That's a good point.
It was hard to hear them sing, Dr. Love. It was hard for them to sing rock and roll, without the makeup. It kind of lost its flavor.
They got stuck in that rock and a hard place.
So I love Kiss. I love all their stuff, but Van Halen, they were off Sammy Hagar, two different bands. And don't get me started on the Gary Sharon album. But two different bands. Still both very good bands. But I don't know if I want to hear Sammy singing Jump. I don't know if I want to hear Sammy singing Ice Cream Man.
Correct. Now, the staple with this, the reason I like this album is they found a recipe that worked. 10 songs, like I said, no instrumentals, no ballads for the most part. Paul Stanley sang 4. Gene Simmons sang 4. Peter Criss had 2. Usually it was Ace Frehley and Peter Criss each had 1 each. Typically was the format they used for the 10-song album. So, like I said, we said earlier in the broadcast, you're not wearing out your voice. Paul Stanley's really singing 4 songs in the album. Gene Simmons is 4. The rest are doing some background vocals, but they're saving their vocals and their, the longevity of the band. It's almost like how people consider Byron Buxton in center field. Don't play as much. Let's get some longevity here. Now, I'm not comparing Byron Buxton.
Gene's not injured. He's just taking a break. But that's the thing with Paul and Gene too. Is
no.
Again, almost two different bands. I mean, look when they did Best of Solos. Gene's got a different type of voice and style than what Paul does. But a lot of bands made that work at the time. The Eagles. Styx. Dennis DeYoung didn't sing all the songs. A lot of those other bands like that.
Yes.
Well, like I mentioned, Heart. Nancy sings a couple songs. Gives Anna a break. So it happens. That's what they do. So that's the great recipe is you have two different singers, pull it off.
Not like Ronnie James Dio or Blackie Lawless saying everything, every song of every album.
Exactly.
Robert Plant.
No,
but that's all I've got. Anything more on Rock and Roll Over, Andy?
This is when they were kind of really starting to.
This was their prime.
Skyrocket up there. It was a good album. I like Ladies' Room, just because when I first heard it, I was 8. I heard a couple years later, 8, 9 years old. I like the song for different reasons as I got older. Okay. 8, 9, 10-year-old Andy, that's a funny song. He's going to the ladies' room, but I always love the music part. Just that was.
Well, Gene
Yes.
Simmons would always call his office
the
ladies'
younger
room,
me,
right?
I love the music.
That
the
was
sound.
his office.
High school, I started understanding what the words meant.
Yeah.
Oh. So that's what you got to appreciate with them as a band too. Is some of the lyrics may not be the best, but the music's really, really good on all their songs.
Yeah, true. All right. Well, that's all I've got here for the show today. Please like, share, and subscribe. Send it out there for others. Leave your comments below also for recommendations on
bands
like
and albums you want to hear. And again, if you do enjoy Kiss, you do enjoy their earlier stuff. There was a local tribute band, Kissin' Time, which was a Kiss song early in time. So if you want to hear some of the earlier stuff like that, give them a search on your internet machine for social media. They're a good follow. Again, go back a few episodes. We went and saw them. You can see our pictures and our review of their show. There's other Kiss tribute bands too. We're just speaking of the one we know.
Yeah, there's other Kiss tribute bands, but Kissin' Time, local here in the Twin Cities, is the only one that I know of that covers the first three or four albums only. They just do the first round, the old stuff, and so that's what sets them apart from others. But we'll be having an interview coming up here at the end of the month.
Special episode. Keep
one of the members of
watch on our social media for that episode.
That one will be good. I got a feeling it's going to be part 2 and 3, but we're going to start off with just a short interview to get different episodes coming up. Yeah. He's a fan. He's a big, big fan of the old stuff, and we can get going on.
That's right. That could ramble on. Next thing you know, we're 4 hours in. Yeah.
That's what I think is going to happen with this show. We could really go far. But
all right, we'll talk to you later.
Have a good week, everyone. Thanks.